One of the best clubs in your bag, and I guess one of your favorite clubs, is your hybrid. Why? Because it makes some really challenging shots a lot easier. And today we're talking about how to hit your hybrid and some of the specifics that go into it so that you can get the most out of it. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, Director of Instruction for US Golf TV, and one of the best inventions in golf over the last 50 years has been the invention of the hybrid, because what it has done is it has allowed you to get the ball up in the air and hit those shots that once were really difficult with a 3-iron and a 4-iron and a 5-iron, and it's made them a lot easier. So we're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about ball position today. We're going to talk about some swing stuff. We're going to talk about why this club is designed a little bit different than the other clubs and what you need to know to get the most out of it. And if you haven't already, hey, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're putting out great content all the time. We're helping golfers all over the globe. And most importantly, I love hearing from you. So be sure to leave a comment. I do my best to answer all those, and I want to help you play some better golf. So let's dive right into this. First of all, what is a hybrid? Well, a hybrid is a club that typically most golfers will use that to fill that gap, that distance between where they hit their drive and where they feel comfortable hitting an iron. So for a lot of amateur golfers, they hit their driver, and they probably really don't like hitting a 3-iron and a 4-iron and maybe even a 5-iron. They don't mind their 7, 8s, and 9s, but what do they use to fill that gap? Well, that's the hybrid. Now, when the hybrid was first designed and came out, I can tell you this, it changed people's game. Because one is it's designed for golfers who have a slower club head speed, right? Because the way it's designed, you'll notice here on the bottom, it's got this nice long bottom. It allows us to actually kind of sweep the golf ball off the turf. We don't have to hit down on it, and best of all, it doesn't require a lot of club head speed because it helps get the ball up in the air because of those design features. And we're going to talk about the ball position here in just a second. So if you don't have a hybrid and you've got a slower club head speed, my first tip is you need to go hit a couple and try it out, because it really makes the game a lot easier because it helps get that ball up in the air. Now, let's talk a little bit about ball position, first of all, and kind of the general setup when it comes to hitting the hybrid, because this club is different than your irons, all right? So where do we want that ball to be positioned? Well, I like to see the ball position slightly forward of center. Now, why is that? Because when I'm hitting a hybrid, I'm going to go ahead and hit one here for you. And anytime I'm working on ball position, I always get my rhymer out here because it's a great training tool, and it's so simple that it tells me exactly where that ball should be. So I'm going to put it a little bit forward of center. Let me go ahead and hit one for you. Okay, and I just love this club because the ball gets up in the air. It's super easy to hit straight. Now, we want that ball to be positioned slightly forward of center because the club is designed, it's got this huge sweet spot on here, right? And it's designed to kind of basically brush through the grass and catch the ball. So you want the ball to be positioned right at the bottom of the swing arc, or maybe even a little bit forward of that. So I like to position the hybrid when I'm teaching my students here. I want it basically about off the inside of the lead heel, maybe a smidge back from that. So if this is the lead heel, I'm going to move it maybe, here's my lead heel, I'm going to move it maybe one roll back from the inside of the lead heel, and that's going to put it right at the bottom of the swing arc, right where I want it. Now, the other thing that's important with this club is the position of the shaft and the body, okay? Because unlike a driving iron, now driving irons right now, they're pretty popular. But think about it, where are they popular at? They're popular on TV. The guys and gals who play the game for a living who swing the club at 115, 120 miles an hour. Driving irons are great if you got a lot of club head speed. But my guess is if you're watching this video, you probably don't have that club head speed, and that's why the hybrid is for you. So driving irons aren't necessarily bad, okay, but you got to have a lot of club head a lot of club head speed in order to do that. So let's talk a little bit about the setup. Okay, when you're set in here, you want your hands to be basically neutral. Notice how the shaft angle is neutral right here, right? So when it's in neutral position, okay, this would be too far forward. This would be too far back, right? So when it's in a neutral position, that allows me to use the design of the club to get the ball up in the air super easy. Now, a common mistake that a lot of golfers make with their hybrid is they kind of set up like they do with their iron. So what do? They do two things. One is they get the ball too far back because they think they need to hit down on it. Not with a hybrid. Iron, that's fine. We've done videos on irons. If you want tips on how to hit your irons, check those out. But they move the ball too far back, and then worst of all, they get their hands too far forward. Okay, so they get in this position right here like this. And what happens is it takes the leading edge and it drives it down into the ground and totally negates all of the design feature of the hybrid. It's one of the great things about the hybrid is this design feature. And if you get your hands too far forward, you're in problems. You might as well just be hitting an iron. Okay, and what happens is it's too far back, hands are forward like this, club sticks into the ground, and typically it's low and left if you're a right-handed golfer. So that's a little bit about shaft position. So let's talk about the position of the body. We already know that it's more of a sweeping motion, right? Now, your irons are down, driver's up. So what are we going to do? We're going to get set in here. We know about ball position. And I want your shoulders, okay, pretty square to the target, and maybe just a tiny tilt. If you've watched any of my driver videos, you know with your driver we want a little bit more tilt, right? Because we really want to hit up on it. Okay, but with their hybrid, you're pretty neutral, maybe tilt it just a little bit. So that's a little bit about ball position. We got it slightly off the inside lead heel, neutral hands, okay, and then from this position here, we can go ahead and just swing it. Now, let's talk about the swing. Okay, so we've talked about the objective, we've talked about the setup, let's talk a little bit about the swing. Now, this club here, I can tell you, like my daughter's been playing golf for a little bit now, and she loves her hybrid. And even some of my tour pros who don't have a ton of club head speed, they love their hybrid. Why? Because they can swing it at a slower speed and they can get the golf ball up in the air. So when you're swinging your hybrid, you've got to have great rhythm and great tempo. It is not a club that's designed like a driving iron or a driver where you kind of grip it and rip it, right? The hybrid is designed for rhythm and tempo. So when you're swinging your hybrid, I want you to focus on rhythm and tempo. So you're back and you're through. Now, one of the tips I give my golfers with tempo is balance finish. Notice my finish? Nice and balanced. So when you're swinging this club, I want you to focus on your finish. I want your knees touching. I want your body facing the target, and you're in good tempo. That'll help you with your good tempo and your good rhythm. So the hybrid is a great golf club. And if you don't have one, you want to go check it out. So next time you head to the golf course, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get the ball a little forward of center so it's off the inside of the lead heel, maybe one roll back. Make sure those hands are in that neutral position. You get them too far forward, okay, it's not going to work. Neutral position. Tiny bit of tilt, tempo back, hold the finish. Gotta love this club. Ball goes up in the air, super easy to hit. These couple tips along with the right club in your hands is gonna help you master this game.